Americans have become obsessed with the concept of tidying and living an uncluttered life. But when you have young children, safety is also important. So can tidiness and safety go hand in hand? Here with tips to help parents keep their home uncluttered and safe for their little ones is the Director of Research at Safe Kids Worldwide, Morag Mackay. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
So, can you really have both a safe and tidy home?
Well, we actually think this is a great pairing because once you've gone through that tidying process and you've decluttered your home, you're much more likely to be able to identify the potential risks. And that's why we're really happy to be teaming up with brands like Tide to bring to attention parents some of the things that they need to be thinking about when it comes to childproofing.
So are there areas of the house where parents need to take special considerations?
Yeah, we have 4 rooms where we think sometimes there are things that parents may not automatically think about, and the one we want to start with is actually the laundry room. Liquid laundry packets are becoming more and more popular. They come in a great container, but we really recommend that parents keep them in that container and ensure they're closing it between each use, and then finding a location up high on a shelf out of sight and reach of a child to store them. And that actually goes for all cleaning products. Another room that is really important is the bathroom. Now, in the bathroom, often people are storing all sorts of different medicine, but when we talk to parents, we also hear that in addition to where they store medicine, there are also locations in the home where they're keeping medicine. So they might have something that they keep on the nightstand, they might have a pain med in their purse, they might have vitamins on the counter. And we think this tidying opportunity is a really good time to be bringing all those medicines together and then finding a location up high, out of sight and reach to store those medicines. Another room that we talk to parents about is the living room, because if you've got kids, you've got toys, and the likelihood is that they are somewhere in the living room. So when you're doing that tidying, we want to parents to be thinking about the toys from the age perspective. And often they're not aware that toys are actually designed for different age groups. So when you get the toy, the packaging always indicates the age range that that toy is intended for. But once they're unpacked, sometimes they get jumbled together. So when you're doing your decluttering and your tidying, we suggest that you think about dividing the toys by age group so that you've got that box or basket of toys for the younger child that are safe for them. But then toys that have small pieces that might cause a problem for a younger child are actually stored separately and in a location where young ones can't get into them. And while we're in the living room, another thing that we talk about is actually remote control batteries. So as remotes are getting smaller and smaller, the batteries that we're using in them are also getting smaller and smaller. And we're now seeing a lot more of these quarter-sized disc batteries used. And when they're swallowed by a child, they can cause quite serious injuries. So again, finding a location in the living room where you're storing this up high, out of reach of a child, and ensuring that it gets put back after every use is really important. And the final one in the living room that parents really don't always think about is the actual furniture. As you're doing your decluttering and tidying, often you're putting things away into baskets and boxes up on bookshelves or in cabinets to keep everything in its own place. But one of the things you may not realize is that as kids get older and they go from crawling to walking, sometimes they're also climbing. And so we really recommend that parents strap all furniture to the walls, including the TV, and there are all sorts of brackets and devices to help you do that today. So just ensure that all furniture is attached to the wall to keep the family safe. And the final room that we talk about is the kitchen. Everybody has that junk drawer. Everybody has that cabinet full of Tupperware where you've got, I don't know, dozens and dozens of containers with no lid that fits. So part of the tidying process is just finding what fits and getting rid of the rest. And when you're sitting back and really sort of celebrating the fact that you've decluttered your home and hoping that it stays that way for at least a few weeks, you might be doing it over a nice hot cup of coffee or tea. And what we really recommend is when you're enjoying a hot beverage, don't have a child on your lap. Put them in some sort of stationary activity center or a high chair beside you so they can see what you're doing and communicate with you, but they aren't at risk of that beverage spilling. And then when you're cooking, think about using the back burners whenever possible and turning any handles on pots or pans inwards so a young child can't grab them and unintentionally pull that pot down on top of themselves.
Well, these are some great tips. Is there a resource where we can go for more information?
Yes. The Safe Kids website is at safekids.org, SAFEKIDS.org, and there you can find all sorts of additional tips, checklists that take you through the house room by room to keep your little ones safe from preventable injury.
Thank you so much for all this information.
My pleasure.